Hello. I just wanted really this as a subject that's been sort of bubbling around on the surface recently, and I'm getting sort of reminders of this particular subject, and it's about clear communication, um, and what's meant by this. Um, in the way we relate with each other, how we communicate, and there's a subtext to this, and that's really the way texting is used, or short messaging service. So this is texting or anything, any of the many ways of texting via other applications which are still like texts, short messaging, and how totally ambiguous that can be when talking about anything of quality and meaningful, a meaningful conversation, and conversation is within the realms of communication, and something that's kind of really important to me. I mean, communications is important, and something that I'm always working on personally. So I'm not trying to say that I'm particularly an expert as such. However, it's something that's really close to my heart to be able to express myself as clearly as I can, and not to be ambiguous in when I'm communicating. I can be ambiguous if I'm, say, posting a short something on Facebook, for example. Although, having said that, I don't do that very often now. But it's not to say that I don't do it. But that's not the same as what I'm talking about here, because I'm drawing on life experience of how, before the short messaging service came along, and I truly don't believe that the SMS, the short messaging service, texting, or any of the evolution of it into apps, such as WhatsApp or Telegram or any of them, that the SMS, the short texting, was ever intended to be used to fully communicate with other people. And however, it is because it's quite convenient to do that rather than to actually speak to somebody. But personally, maybe it's just me. I don't know. I don't think it is just me, but it's actually quite nice, especially if there's a subject of some great context that needs, or is a desire to discuss it, or it just pops up in your head. I think I'd much rather have a conversation of voice, or even maybe even the recording that you can do through these apps. I mean, at least there's that, and sometimes I do that. But I find text conversations sometimes, when there isn't a properly clear communication and expression, there's ambiguity in it, and it's like there's a dance that's going on between people sometimes, where they're not particularly clear, and then they'll make some sort of a statement because they're not being clear. They can't just come out and be very clear in communication. it leads to ambiguity, and I personally find that to be quite tedious. It's not clear, and it's important for us to be clear. I think it's even more important for us to be clear now, in the time that we're living in now. It's especially important for definition and clear communication between each other, where there is so much kind of I mean, to coin a word that's used a lot, it's just so much uncertainty, so much again, so many kind of dilemmas out there, mixed kind of amounts of information about different things that is touching on people's values and beliefs on many levels. Excuse me. And so, if we don't try to be as clear as possible with what it is we're trying to communicate and our feelings, and not to be, and we can be sensitive with this. We don't have to be blunt with people. We can be sensitive with it, and use language. I mean, that's the great thing that we've got. We've got language that we can use in a way that is kind and considerate without being blunt. And I just think that it's really, it's essential with the way things are out in society. I just sense that there's a lot of naturally occurring confusion, and that the society itself is reacting because of it's an effect of a cause. The cause being the way the society has been impacted by the way things have been sort of dealt with. And I'm specifically talking about here, obviously, of the experience in the UK. However, from what I see, there are varying different degrees of that across the globe, and in some countries it's actually appalling what is actually unraveling, the way some governments and their the public servants, if you like, are being expected to respond to clearly what is people's right and freedom to express how they feel peacefully, and for the most part it seems that they are. Anyway, so I've gone off on a bit of a tangent there, but really I'm trying to put the whole thing into context of why it is. That's why it's so important, because this is all relevant to the way things are. I mean, it's always been an important issue: communication, language, how we use language to communicate, and certainly something that's a life's, an ongoing life's kind of work, personally for me, and in the work that I do as well, in as a therapist, and how important it is. So I've that's what I wanted to talk about. I hope it's of value and of interest, and is stimulating, mind provoking, thought provoking, about thinking about how we communicate, and what we use to communicate, and for yeah, I mean, it could well be that that communication that would take place via voice can just as easily be kind of put across in a text. However, as I say, it's not particularly my preferred way, because the thing about the voice is when you've got a voice to listen to, there's it's exactly that. There's a voice to listen to, so you can actually see, or hear rather, how someone is feeling. In most cases, not in all cases, because some voices are different, and they might be kind of monotone or a bit flat or whatever, or there just may not necessarily always be an expression in someone's voice. That could be for many reasons, but in most part, to hear another's voice, and I mean, taking it a step further, if it was like a video chat, then you would not only hear them, you would see them. I mean, there's lots of that, and I dare say that there's lots of that going on, but it's just some of the use of texting and its ambiguity, which is a thread that's running through the theme of why I felt the need to make this video. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to doing other videos as well about different subjects. Thank you.